His feet are quite bent. Thank you, good boy. Don't you bite me. His feet are quite overgrown. He's got long, stretched out toes. So we're just trying to get him cleaned up so we can get a real good look. On this foot, oddly enough, he has broken. I know, it's okay. Okay, yeah, let's pull this up here then. He actually took a divot. It's like a perfectly round divot right out of the front of his hoof wall. And what's really interesting about that is he looks like he's considering doing the same thing on this foot. The same thing in the same place. Sometimes, because of the shape where his toes are so scooped forward, there's a lot of pressure right in here as he walks. He's putting pressure at the toe and it sort of buckles here. So if he had any problems with the hoof wall being connected well, he may have just popped that little piece right off of there because he didn't have a strong enough connection to hold it on. And that's okay. All of this will grow out. It's just going to take time and consistency. Well, you can see his sole ends right here at the end of my hoof pick. And you can see that there's a lot of material between the sole and the hoof wall. That's called lamellar wedge. Basically, when the hoof wall pulls away from the coffin bone at the toe, in this case because he has that stretched toe, if the hoof didn't fill in with something, there'd be an airspace. So it starts producing very low quality hoof as fast as it can just to fill in the gap. And that will also, as his hoof grows out, that will all go away. We'll get a nice connection of the hoof wall from the hairline all the way to the ground. The back feet look pretty good. The toes are long. Back feet tend to fare better than front feet. They tend to be a little sturdier and a little less prone to distort. The front feet, of course, with that head cantilevered out the front, have a lot more pressure and wear and tear on them. So when anything goes wrong, it shows more in the front feet. He has absolutely perfect potential for getting those beautiful feet we're looking for. It's just going to take a little time. This is Rocky's right hind foot, and you can see he's got a really high heel. You can see his hairline is not quite but almost parallel to the floor. And look at his pastern, how he's bulged out in the front here. And oddly enough, he actually is standing on this foot. He's weight bearing on that foot. Even though it looks like he's resting, he's not. So we know when that heel comes down, that's going to drop this hairline down in the back and help a better natural angle for his pastern here. Just trying to be careful to remove the mud and not the hoof wall.
Oh, okay.
That will come off on its own probably. It's kind of loose. But it's a very strange how just right down the center of the front of the hoof is all letting go. I don't know if you can see right in here, it almost looks like wood grain. That's the lamellar wedge.
Say that again.
There's actually a little bit of white there. And if you can get close enough, you can see it's fibrous. It almost looks like wood grain. It's the strangest thing, but his white line is very stretched out. And then out here, he's got a bunch of dirt packed in there too. So we're gonna get that toe right out of the way. Oh, honey, what a good boy. You're such a good boy. Okay, so what I'm doing here is giving him a flat place to stand and making sure he's balanced. Oh my goodness, he's like, I don't really feel like doing this. What a good boy. Look at you, good boy. You are a spectacular boy. Well, his hairline angle is looking pretty good. He has a nice flat plane on the bottom to stand on. And you can see he's still... His hoof wall ultimately is going to be more like that. He's just got a lot of extra toe there. This mysterious breakage on the front, it's not super loose. There's a crack there, it's not super loose. I'm opting for leaving it. If it pops off, he shouldn't be sore. Let me know if he is, and we can rig something up for him if we have to hoof cast him or something like that. But I suspect it's going to be just like the other one. It's going to come off on its own, and at this point, this being his very first trim, I'm not going to push him farther than we have to. Okay, cute boy. And this is the same thing we had on the other side where the toe is all separated and pulled up. So we're going to get this out of the way. And again, such a good boy.
Now, what are you going to do about this hoof that already has the hole opened up?
We are going to visualize what we want the hoof to look like ultimately, as in when it's all grown out and it's beautiful again. And we work toward that goal. We're going to, you can see all of this toe that wasn't connected. Underneath here, all of this yucky stuff, that's lamellar wedge. So, as long as this toe is up and out of the way, he can break over. He's not putting pressure on that toe and continuing to rip this hoof wall up, causing that sort of elf shoe looking.
It does look like an elf shoe.
Is that too high for you? That's fine. You don't have to lift that high then. We will figure it out, you and me.
I like how patient you are with them.
For me to get stressed makes them stressed, which makes them even more difficult to handle. And then that makes me stressed, and it gets to be a vicious circle. So the calmer I can stay, the better off we are. Besides, if you look at his front feet from the front, if you compare the hairline on either side of the foot, it's pretty parallel to the ground. Even though the bottom of the hoof capsule is really distorted and it looks weird, we know that his bony column is in a good position because everything's in alignment. His hairline is nice and even. And at the very top of his hoof, where the hoof wall comes down, it's almost vertical, which is what we like to see. So we're just going to have to support him while he grows all that yucky stuff at the bottom out. Yucky being a technical term. And again, this is about getting him balanced side to side and eliminating that curve, that rocker of the hoof wall that he was just rocking back and forth, and he was able to spin on his hoof because so little of it was in contact with the ground. And again, there's a lot of lamellar wedge here in the front. We'll work that toe right out of the way, leaving him plenty of support here at the heel and at the quarters.
Lisa, so is there anything I need to do with his hoofs in between trimmings?
Really, keep his feet clean, pick him out every day, make sure he's got no stones going on in there, and he's going to pretty much do the rest himself.
All right. And when will you be back again?
Well, I am going to come back, probably see him in roughly 3 weeks, and I'm pretty excited to see what's going to happen, so I hope everybody will come back and watch this guy progress because it's going to be really cool.